In the bustling and beautiful town of Pretoria, South Africa, there lived a young man named Enzo, who was popularly known as Junior by his peers. When Enzo was a teenager, he was very stubborn and would disrespect his parents at the slightest provocation. Even though Enzo's parents were struggling with their finances, they did their best to provide for Enzo and his siblings. But no matter what they gave to or did for Enzo, he was never satisfied.
You want me to use this old phone while my friends have new phones? What kind of parents are you? You shouldn't have given birth to me if you knew you wouldn't be able to give me what I want.
Enzo, why are you being ungrateful? Your father worked so hard to buy you this second-hand phone, and now you don't even appreciate it?
Mom, please. What should I appreciate here? Oh, I get it. It's because I still live in this rickety house. Don't worry. Once I round up the school year, I'll be leaving.
He growled, then he walked out on his parents. Even though Enzo's father tried to hide his pain and disappointment from his son's reaction, his facial expression said otherwise.
He thinks life is easy out there. Or is it because of those boys he has been hanging out with? He can leave if he wants to leave. Maybe when he does that, he will finally see the world for what it is.
Darling, I'll talk to him. You know how he can be at times.
No, there is nothing you can do about this. He is an ungrateful child.
As time passed, Enzo continued being a nuisance to his family. Sometimes, if he asked his parents for money and they did not give him the exact amount he asked for, he would steal the money from them despite knowing that the money had its own purpose. If at all the money was meant for food, Enzo would steal the money and still complain and insult his parents for not providing food at home. Also, if he was really desperate for money to keep up with his friends, he would go as far as selling his mother's valuables just to meet his needs. Just like Enzo had said, at the end of that school year, he moved out of his parents' house without telling anyone. At first, when he didn't come home on the first day, his mother thought he was only staying out late as usual. But when the following day passed and Enzo didn't come home, they were forced to go to his room, and that was when everyone realized that Enzo had moved out. When Enzo moved out of his parents' house, he moved in with his friends. Sadly, some of these friends were high school dropouts, and some of them were very rough. They would snatch people's phones at night, smoke, club, and even abuse women. Without his parents' restrictions, Enzo became worse than he was, and it didn't take time before he dropped out of school to fully be like his friends.
I have told you guys that you don't need school to be rich in this life.
One of Enzo's friends said while smoking.
I know so many people who didn't even step foot in school. But today, they are all big boys in this town. They drive the best cars, live in the biggest houses, and they do whatever they want. I know that. Even some of our politicians are not as educated as they look. But look at where they are.
Enzo said,
in this life, all we have to do is figure out what we need to do that will make us successful, so we can prove to the ones who went to school that they were only wasting their time.
One of the guys said.
You are right. You remember that my friend Wisdom? The guy owns one of the biggest churches here in our country. And I can assure you that he wasn't even called by God. Called by God? Do you believe that nonsense that God really calls people? That's just what they tell us to make us think their roles are divine. But what do you guys think? It wouldn't be bad if we started our own church, eh? We are all old enough to be called by God, eh?
One of the guys said.
You are very funny.
Enzo laughed.
I'm not joking, eh? If we can come together and start a church, We would make a lot of money from our members. Don't you know there are churches that the members buy cars, houses and even private jets for their pastors?
The same guy said.
Are you being serious about us starting a church?
Enzo asked in shock.
Yes, I am. After all, we are all from Christian homes. And most of us went to church as children, so we know how it works. And if we put our heads together, we can make it work.
The guy said.
You have a point, my guy. But you know the procedures. We can't just start a church unless we are registered. And we also need one person who will be the face of the church, while the rest of us run things in the background. If you guys are ready about this, we can take care of everything. You know that hall my father rents out for parties and receptions. We can use it. I know this is a good idea, but I have a question. Most people know us as the rough boys, and we have robbed 1 or 2 people from this neighborhood. How will they come to our church when they know our pastors bad boys? Enzo, you are the smartest among us. You will find a way to convince people. After all, everyone has a past. Even the Bible has a record of Saul who used to persecute Christians before he became an apostle of Christ. If you think we can pull this off, then we can do it. If it doesn't work, we will move on with our lives.
By just having that conversation, Enzo and his 2 friends decided to open a small church, and they did. Even though they weren't financially buoyant, they robbed more people and sold their items. Then they used the money to fund the church and buy some equipment. After 3 months of hustling hard to set up the church, Enzo and his friends were set to open it. Before this, Enzo had purchased a black shirt and trousers to make him look like a pastor. As if that wasn't enough, he also printed flyers of their church and he went around the neighborhood sharing it to people and convincing them to come to his church. As expected, when Enzo told people about the church, a lot of people mocked him and some even chased him out of their houses. Because of this publicity, it didn't take time before the news reached Enzo's parents. On the Sunday morning that was supposed to be the grand opening of the church or the first day of service, Enzo and his friends expected that the church would be filled up, but to their greatest surprise, no one came.
My guy, didn't you tell anyone about service today? Why hasn't anyone showed up? You know I did, and I told you that things didn't turn out well. Some people didn't even let me talk or share the flyers with them. Maybe we should wait a little longer. I'm sure someone will show up. We are the only church in this neighborhood. They should come here instead of going to those far distant churches. Okay, let's wait a little. Maybe an hour and they will come. You know we have African time.
The other guy said. About 30 minutes after they decided to wait, something unexpected happened. Enzo's mother and father showed up, but they had no intentions to attend the church service. They wanted to see if the rumors they heard about Enzo becoming a pastor was true.
Enzo! So the nonsense I've been hearing in the neighborhood is true? When did you become a pastor? Enzo! Do you even know what you are doing? Oh, Mom! Please, I'm in a very bad mood. If you came here to make my mood worse, please leave. Is it your mother you are talking to like that? Look, Enzo, I don't know what you have gotten yourself into, but it's not too late to come out. Dad, please take your wife and leave before I do what you would like. I have left your house for you. Why won't you leave me alone? Enzo, I carried you in my womb for 9 months, and I will not watch you ruin your life. I do not care if you carried me for eternity. Please take your bad luck and leave my church before my members get here. Enzo, why are you so stubborn? We have done everything we can to show you we love you, but you won't just listen. Oh, look, Dad, if you do not take your wife out of here and any of my church members come here and see this scene, I promise you that I will come to your office and create a scene. And I would stop until I make sure you are kicked out of that office.
Knowing what Enzo was capable of doing, His father held his mother's arms and they walked out of the church with their heads bowed in shame.
Hey, Enzo, you have really become soft, eh? See how your parents were still insisting.
My parents already know me. If I say something once and they make me repeat myself again,
then they'll be in serious trouble. You have to be tougher, bro. I taught you better than this. I just didn't want to create a scene here in case people showed up. I will definitely go home and warn them. Now let's wait. Today's our big day and we have worked so hard for it.
Sadly, after 2 hours of waiting, which was even way longer than the time they had agreed to wait, Enzo and his friends realized that no one was actually coming.
What could be wrong? Should we go to their houses and threaten them?
No, we can't do that. If we do that and the word spreads, we will be creating a bad name for our church, Enzo said.
So what do we do now? How do we get people to come to our church? We have put so much into this ministry and we can't let it waste like that.
I will do my research. Maybe I will find something online that will teach us how to grow our congregation. Hopefully, by the next service day, we will have some people here.
Okay, please do.
Because Enzo was the saddest one among them, and he wanted to prove a point to his parents, Enzo began doing his research that day. He went online and searched for ways he could grow a church. In fact, he spent days doing his research without rest until something happened. One day, while Enzo was reading a spiritual article, an ad popped on his phone, and it was an ad from a spiritualist who claimed he could help young ministers and pastors grow their churches. Without wasting time, Enzo clicked the ad, and in no time, he began talking with the spiritualist. Luckily for Enzo, the man was also in South Africa but in a different region. But Enzo didn't mind going to see him because he was very desperate and badly needed the church to grow so they could make money from it. Enzo fixed an appointment with the man and he went to visit him. Unknown to Enzo, by going to see the spiritualist he met online, he was about to entangle himself in something that was deeper than he could ever imagine and would ultimately ruin his life in the long run. Watch out for part 2. Did you enjoy this story? Tell us your favorite part in the comment section below. Please like, share and subscribe to our channel. Also, do not forget to follow us on Facebook and Instagram. Thank you.